The basement door slammed above us with a heaviness that didn't match its frame, as if my husband pressed his entire weight into it. The sound echoed down the narrow staircase, trapping itself in the humid air. Dust lifted in a soft cloud, drifting through the dim light like unsettled memories. I felt my heartbeat in my throat, tight, erratic, and the concrete steps beneath my feet suddenly felt steeper than they had 5 minutes earlier. My name is Rachel, I'm 33, and until tonight, I thought basements only held forgotten boxes. The lock clicked. Once, twice, then silence. I swallowed hard. Mom, what is he doing? Why would he? Before I could finish, my mother's hand gripped my arm with unexpected strength. Be quiet, she whispered, her voice barely air. He doesn't know what's behind these walls. Her eyes were wide, not with fear but recognition, as if this place wasn't foreign to her at all. I froze. What are you talking about? She didn't answer. Instead, she guided me deeper into the basement, past the old furnace and the shelves of tools my husband never used. The concrete floor was cold through my socks. Each step felt deliberate, like she was following a map only she could see. Upstairs, footsteps paced, then stopped. My husband's shadow blurred through the thin light at the base of the door. Mom, I whispered, please tell me what's happening. She touched the wall with trembling fingers, an old brick surface that looked ordinary, untouched, unremarkable. But something in her face told me otherwise. Rachel, she said softly, your husband thinks he locked us in. She pressed her palm flat against the bricks. He has no idea this basement was built for escape, not storage. Her voice trembled. And I'm the reason why. My mother's hand lingered on the brick, her fingers tracing lines I couldn't see, like she was reading a language written in dust and mortar. I stepped closer, trying to understand, trying to breathe evenly despite the faint metallic smell rising from the floor. The basement suddenly felt smaller, the ceiling lower, the air heavier. Mom, how do you know this? I whispered. She didn't look at me. Because I helped build it. Her words settled like a slow, cold draft drifting down my spine. She tapped one brick lightly, then another, listening, not for sound but for memory. I watched her face shift through emotions I couldn't name. Above us, my husband moved again. His footsteps were sharper now, pacing with the restless confidence of someone who believed he had complete control. The light under the door flickered as he stopped, listening. My mother lowered her voice even more. Rachel, he thinks locking a door gives him power. But this house was never his to understand. What do you mean? I whispered. She finally looked at me, really looked, and for the first time tonight I saw fear in her eyes, but not of my husband. Of what she was about to reveal. When I was your age, she said, your grandfather built this basement. He didn't trust the world. He built rooms inside rooms. Paths inside walls. A way out for me if life ever turned. I stared at her, stunned. Why didn't you tell me? Because I hoped you'd never need it. Her voice cracked faintly. But the moment your husband shoved us down those stairs, I knew the past had found its use again. A soft scraping noise interrupted her. Not from above. From the wall. Behind it, something shifted, wood against stone, slow and deliberate. My mother inhaled sharply. He's not the only one who doesn't know we're down here. The scraping sound slid through the air again, slow, careful, unmistakably intentional. My breath tightened. I looked at my mother, expecting panic, but her face carried something else entirely, recognition threaded with dread. Mom, is someone down here? I whispered. She placed a trembling finger to her lips. Not someone. Something your grandfather left behind. Her wording made the basement feel colder. My husband's footsteps moved above us again, faster now, irritated as if he expected to hear us crying, begging, pounding on the locked door. Instead we stood very still, listening to the wall breathe. My mother touched the bricks again, searching for patterns. Your grandfather didn't build this basement to hide from people, she said quietly. He built it to hide things from people. What things? Her eyes softened with grief. Secrets. And safety. And sometimes both were the same. The scraping sound stopped. Then 2 soft taps. Deliberate. Familiar to her somehow. She closed her eyes. I never thought I'd hear that again. My pulse hammered. Mom, please, tell me what's behind that wall. She finally turned to me, her expression fragile and fierce all at once. Rachel, before you were born, before I met your father, I had a brother. He was different. Gentle. Too gentle for the world your grandfather feared. I blinked. You never said. I wasn't allowed to. She exhaled shakily. Your grandfather built this hidden room to protect him. To give him a life away from institutions, away from people who didn't understand him. My stomach dropped. Mom, are you saying? Another tap from inside the wall, softer this time. Almost hopeful. She nodded slowly. He lived down here for years. Long after I left. Her voice broke. And I don't know if he ever left. The wall shifted again, this time with the faint sound of a latch. And then, a thin line of warm light appeared between the bricks. The thin line of light widened, dust drifting into the air like pollen shaken from an old season. I felt my mother lean forward slightly, her breath catching as the hidden panel shifted open by inches. The air that seeped through was warmer than the basement, carrying a faint scent of cedar, something familiar yet foreign in this cold, concrete space. Mom, I whispered, is this safe? She didn't answer immediately. Her eyes were fixed on the opening, not with fear but a grief so deep it didn't tremble, it settled. He was always gentle, she murmured. Gentle doesn't mean harmless. But he was never violent. Not to me. The panel creaked again, opening just enough for shapes to blur inside. A sliver of wooden flooring, a hint of shelves and the glow of an old lamp. Upstairs, my husband's footsteps halted. He must have heard something because the next sound was the unmistakable rattle of the basement door handle being tested, hard. Rachel, he shouted. Are you two done crying yet? I stiffened, the echo of his voice clawing down the stairs. My mother reached for my hand. Don't answer, she whispered. Not yet. The panel in the wall clicked fully open with a final soft release. A narrow doorway appeared, edges rimmed with dust and time. My mother stepped closer, her posture shifting, less fragile, more resolute. I used to leave food in there, she said quietly. Books. Soft things for him to hold. He didn't like the world, but he loved stories. The thought was strangely tender, a hidden life shaped by pages and silence. Do you think he's still alive? I asked. Before she could speak, another sound drifted out, a soft shuffle followed by a low, wordless hum. The kind of sound someone makes when they're not alone for the first time in a very long time. My mother's eyes filled. He knows my voice, she whispered. Upstairs, my husband slammed his fist against the door. Down here, the past opened its arms. The hum grew steadier, rising like a forgotten melody. My mother stepped toward the doorway with a familiarity that felt both comforting and haunting. I followed her slowly, each footstep matched by my husband's pounding from above, rage crashing against wood while something far older stirred just beyond the hidden threshold. Don't be afraid, my mother whispered, though the tremble in her hand betrayed her. He never liked sudden noise, or shouting, or men. The implication made the room feel even smaller. I hesitated. Mom, what if he's not the same person anymore? No one stays the same in darkness, she said softly. But he was loved down here. That matters. Well, not abandoned. Not trapped. The basement had held two truths at once, and my mother had been carrying both for 40 years. A faint figure shifted in the strip of lamplight. I couldn't see a face, only the outline of someone sitting, rocking slightly, humming into cupped hands. A blanket draped over thin shoulders. Shelves behind him overflowing with old books, spines frayed, pages worn. A life built quietly at the edges of the world. Michael? My mother whispered, her voice breaking on the name. It's me. The humming stopped. The figure froze. Upstairs, my husband shouted my name again, louder, closer, furious. The lock rattled hard. But down here, in this pocket of forgotten time, someone shifted toward us. Then a gentle sound, almost curious, rose from the doorway. Anna? The voice murmured, my mother's childhood name. She gasped, pressing a hand to her heart. It's really you, she whispered. The figure stood slowly, unsteadily. A man shaped by years but softened by solitude. He stepped into the doorway's glow, and for a brief moment, peace replaced fear. Then my husband kicked the basement door so violently the hinges groaned. Michael flinched backward in terror. My mother's grip tightened around my arm. He can't see him, she whispered. Not ever. My husband's kicks shook dust loose from the rafters, each impact sending a tremor through the floorboards above us. Michael recoiled deeper into the hidden room, his hands covering his ears, rocking as the old hum returned, now jagged, frightened. My mother knelt in front of him, her voice a thin thread of calm in the thickening panic. It's okay, she whispered, stroking his sleeve. He can't get down here. He won't. But her eyes flicked toward the basement door, and I saw the truth she was trying to hide. She wasn't certain. Not anymore. Mom, I whispered, we need a plan. Michael rocked harder at the sound of my husband's voice, shouting now, threatening, demanding obedience he believed he was owed. My mother motioned for me to step back, lowering her own tone until it barely breathed. Your grandfather built another exit, she said. A tunnel that was meant only for emergencies. It leads to the old root cellar behind the house. A tunnel. 40 years hidden beneath our feet. Where is it? I asked. She pointed toward the back of the hidden room. Behind the cot. Under the boards. My husband slammed something heavy against the door. Metal or wood, I couldn't tell. The frame groaned. My pulse surged. Rachel, he barked. If you don't open this door, I swear. My mother's head snapped toward me. Go, she whispered. Find the tunnel entrance. Open it. Once he stops pounding, he'll try the stairs. We need to be gone before he gets through. What about you? I asked. I'll calm Michael, she said. He trusts me. You open the way. The pounding stopped abruptly. Silence pooled across the basement, thick, dangerous. My mother grabbed my wrist. Rachel now. Quietly. Behind us, Michael whimpered, Anna. Don't leave. She cupped his cheek. I'm right here. And I slipped into the hidden room as the basement doorknob began to turn. The hidden room swallowed me in a warmth the basement never had, a soft, lived-in heat shaped by years of quiet survival. The lamp cast golden light across the walls, revealing shelves packed with books, jars, folded clothes, and little objects arranged with tender precision. A world built in secrecy. A world my husband must never know existed. I moved quickly but silently, weaving around the cot toward the back corner. The floorboards there looked different. Older, worn in a perfect circle as if someone had paced over them for years. I knelt, fingers sliding along the edges until I found a small iron ring tucked beneath a slat. The doorknob upstairs clicked again. My husband's voice seeped through the cracks like something poisonous. Rachel. I'm done playing. Open this door. My breath caught. I lifted the loose board slowly, praying it wouldn't creak. Beneath it, darkness yawned into a narrow shaft, cool air rising from somewhere deep, smelling of earth and age. I leaned closer. A tunnel. Real. Long. And built for escape. Behind me, Michael's humming grew louder, shaky, uneven. My mother whispered to him, her voice steady but strained. It's okay. Stay with me. Don't listen to him. Then the first strike hit the basement door, a full-force blow that rattled the entire room. Michael cried out, hands clamped over his ears. My mother's voice sharpened. Rachel, is it open? Yes, I whispered. She exhaled with relief that sounded like sorrow. Good. You'll go first. No, Mom. This is not negotiable, she said quietly. He can't see you with Michael. If he does, he'll never stop. You go. Now. Another hit. The frame splintered. I reached for her hand, squeezing once, hard. I'm coming back for you. Her eyes glistened. I know. As I lowered myself into the tunnel, the door upstairs gave a long, cracking groan. My husband was almost through. Cold earth closed around me as I descended, the tunnel walls brushing my shoulders. Above, the basement shuddered with another violent blow. I could hear my husband shouting now, words splintered by rage, promises sharpened into threats. My mother answered none of them. Her silence was a shield. I crawled deeper into the tunnel, feeling for footholds carved decades ago. The air grew cooler, the passage narrowing before widening near a bend where the dirt floor sloped upward. For a moment, my breath echoed back at me, lonely, rhythmic, steadying. Then I heard it, another sound layered beneath the chaos above. My mother's voice. Oh, come. Protective. She was singing. A lullaby I hadn't heard since childhood, one she used to hum when storms rattled the windows. A soft, anchoring sound that wrapped itself around Michael's fear and held it still. She was keeping him quiet, keeping him safe, keeping my husband distracted. I moved faster. The tunnel curved and faint moonlight appeared ahead, a thin, trembling glow that leaked through wooden slats. I pushed upward, my hands finding the underside of a hatch. It opened with a soft groan into the root cellar behind the house. I pulled myself out, dirt clinging to my clothes, my heartbeat thrumming with purpose. The night air was sharp, clean, tasting of leaves and cold earth. Freedom. But I wasn't done. I circled to the back porch, staying low. Through the small basement window, I could see shadows moving. My husband forcing himself down the stairs, shoving aside boxes, shouting my name into the dark. And then I saw her. My mother stood between him and the hidden room, still, small, unflinching. She wasn't afraid. She wasn't running. She was waiting. Because she knew something he didn't. She wasn't the one who needed rescuing. I was. Michael was. And now we finally were. The truth had outgrown the walls that once held it.